Let's get started on section 7.4, TBEST TDP Reports. And so from kind of the highest level and where this originated from, this type of report, is there was a research project that was conducted about probably 10 years ago at this point, where we wanted to look at performance measures for state of the practice that could be utilized in Florida TDPs and other that was used in other short-range transit plans. So we came upon these measures that were instituted for the TDP performance measures. And so what this report does is allow you to group your system level performance measures and show multiple scenarios side by side with the values for these performance measures. And so this is a report that FDOT says at a minimum you should include this report for your base year performance measures and your 2030 transit plan for your TDP. Okay. So this is the result of a TDP summary report. And so you can see that on the left, you have the goal area, which is population access, employment access, service characteristics, productivity, and efficiency. And then you have a performance measure inside each one of those relating to the category. And also you can see that you have two scenarios that are being summarized here side by side. At the highest level, annualized ridership and service, and system area, population, and employment, and that's served by transit as well. So so how this kind of works into the TDP, this is an example of the JTA 10-year TDP summary that has a lot of these exact variables summarized going into that this table. So this type of summary moves directly into a TDP for your ridership estimation, population access, employment access, and service characteristics, etc., summarized on a annualized basis for the service. So so this is something that you can do not just one or two. You have to have a minimum of two scenarios. Actually, you can do one, I believe, but you can have as many scenarios here as you want, and inside of the report will accept as many as you want to put in. So you can have multiple scenarios that are side by side for this report. Okay, so let's just do a short little exercise for the TDP report, so you know where it's at, how to access it. And okay, so what we have is for 7.4 TDP report, create a TDP summary report. Under the reports menu on the main toolbar, select the TDP annual summary menu option. So that is here, the TDP annual summary. And what you have is a list of the transit system that we're currently in, which is the Gatorville. And we do have the June 2021 base, fall 2021, the TDP 2030, and the TDP 2030 no build in here. So we want to check the fall 2021, the TDP 2030, and the TDP no build and the TDP 2030. So all three of these scenarios. We want to have the service area definition locked in at Alachua County. That's what we want. And that's really all. So once we do that, we can hit show report. And it will generate the report. So what you'll notice is that it automatically uses a 3/4 mile route buffer. And that is the distance that was kind of agreed upon for the performance measures for this report. So in our last meeting, what we had, or last training, I'm sorry, we had someone suggest that, can we make that an optional variable? Instead of 3/4 of a mile, can we put in, 1/4 or 1/2? So in the next version of TBEST, we did make that a parameter. The default will be 3/4 of a mile, but you can change it to whatever you want it to be. So if you want this to be a different value in the next version of TBEST, you will be able to do that. Okay, great. So we have our TDP annual summary. Let's see if we can size some of this. So we have the fall 2021, the TDP 2030 no build, and the TDP 2030 in here. So what we should see is that from a service perspective, these two should be exactly the same, which they are. The revenue service miles, the speeds, and the headway, because we didn't change the service at all. But we did increase population and employment because it grew out into the future. So these numbers should be greater than the other ones. So you should see an increase for population and employment. And for the scenario 3, you should see a change in service. So there are an additional number of estimated annual service miles, and the headway is the same and the average speed is the same, but the annual service miles that change. And the annual ridership does change as well. And some of the key performance measures are here, along with some of the operating efficiencies in terms of cost as well. So once you have this report, you can export to Excel. And this is going to go under our reports folder. And this would just be the TDP summary. And it comes in just like it was. And again, I really like to add borders, so I'll just tack on the borders here. So then it puts it into the table format that we want. Okay. And we'll just hit save to save those results. And that's it. So once you have that summary, then you can put that into your TDP as your ridership estimation results, and FDOT will be okay with those results. Well, they'll be okay with their formatting, and but it will be up to their review to say that they're okay with it. Okay,